Our next speaker running for Secretary of State is Dorothy Moon.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Dorothy Moon, and I represent District 8 currently. I'm a legislator and have served for 6 years with Priscilla Giddings. We came in at the same time. I live east of Stanley, up the Yankee Fork, up by the old gold mining dredge of Simplot's. And my husband, Dar, is here with my son. And we've been living up there since 2005 off-grid, and we really love it. And to run for Secretary of State has been something we really had to give a lot of thought to. I know that as far as representing rural Idaho, a lot of rural Idaho is going to lose its voice with this redistricting that just occurred. My district actually is now down in part of Mountain Home, and so Lehigh County and Jim County went off, and it's just happened all around the state. So I'm worried about rural Idaho, very worried, because there's a lot that you all offer, and there's a lot that we as a state need to make sure we get out of your way so you can enjoy the liberties and freedoms that we enjoy living off grid where we do. So I was originally born in Kansas City, raised in the Ozarks, and then I met my husband through a friend. She said he was a gold miner, I was a gold digger, and the rest has been history. So my husband, Dar, if he would stand up, please, Dar. We just had our 30-year anniversary a couple of days ago, and I actually forgot the date because it's been so hectic running this statewide campaign. My oldest son, Dane, is here too. Dane, stand up. He's also a gold miner. And he builds a lot of cabins, and I couldn't be more proud of him. My other son works for ITV down in Twin Falls. Anyway, the reason why I'm running is because of election integrity. Back in 2020, when the November election, we kind of had a real big disappointment. All of a sudden, everything was shut down at 11 o'clock at night in battleground states. They took away our president from us, is exactly what they did. Yes, so our governor did not sign on to the Texas lawsuit, but Janice McGee, our lieutenant governor, she actually put forth the effort to get an amicus brief, and 40 of us, including me and Priscilla Giddings, signed on. And we did not prevail because after it was filed on a Thursday, Friday, the Supreme Court threw it out. But we have never received more phone calls, emails, and personal correspondence from folks in regard to any issue more than the fact that we just lost President Trump and the concerns of election integrity and security were in doubt. So I decided to go around and talk to folks, which I did, mainly down in southern central Idaho and over in the Boise area, and started finding out some issues as far as elections, how there was some trouble. It may not be to the scale as those battleground states, but we do have some issues. So as I was going around the state, I decided when I saw the candidates that were running were not conservative at all, and I'm the only conservative candidate for Secretary of State. I have a 98% lifetime rating, sorry Priscilla. But the American Conservative, I should make her mad, American Conservative Union. And I have always voted conservatively and trying to reduce the spending because that's really where the problem is. But as far as election integrity, I put forward the bill this year that dealt with identification. Let's make sure it's a real ID, not a Costco card. Let's make sure residency, it's not a Verizon bill on your phone that has no address. And let's make sure we check the citizenship of any new person who's registered to vote in this state. That is something that isn't really followed through on very much. The last thing is to get rid of the affidavits, where if you leave your ID at home, you can walk in and sign a piece of paper and say, I swear I'm Mary Smith. They give you a ballot, and then you vote it. Put it in the box so they find out that you are not Mary Smith. You just canceled out your vote, or maybe your vote. And if illegal votes are canceling out legal votes, we have a huge issue in this state. The other thing that the Secretary of State does, besides being the chief election officer, which I definitely have a crystal clear path of how to make sure I can remove the doubt that you have in our elections. And a lot of it has to do with education. And I was a lifetime educator. I taught all of the high school sciences, middle school sciences, and I was a special ed director at Challis, Idaho, when I retired. And I think as far as education goes, we have poll watchers who need to know what they're looking for. We have election workers who need to know what the law is and what they need to be looking for. And we have clerks who may not be enforcing our election law. So I think an education is very important. The second thing I was just getting ready to get into was the land board. So the land board consists of the governor, the attorney general, the state controller, the superintendent of public instruction, and also the Me, Secretary of State, hopefully. And what the land board does is they work with the Idaho Department of Lands to make sure that our endowment lands, which were given to us upon statehood, we have sections in our territory that were given to us to log to pay for our schools. And we've done very well with them, average about 50 million a year. But a real game changer has come forth. I would love to take back our 63% of the lands that the feds take back. We all would. But with the Biden administration, you know, that's probably not going to happen. I think Trump was gearing us that way. He believed in state sovereignty, as we do. However, a real game changer that's come forward is the Good Neighbor Authority. 6 years ago, the federal government has been working with the state to allow the Idaho Department of Lands to go in and cruise parcels in the forest, inventory it, auction it off, and then they would manage it, and then that money would go to the county where it was cut, and then a part of this money would go to the State Department of Lands to go and do another sale, then another sale, then another sale. So now we have fuels reduction, maybe some healthier skies. We have an economic product that we can keep cutting over and over again, and then guess what? It's going to benefit the state. 63% of these lands that are forested, we now have an opportunity. So working as your Secretary of State on the Idaho Department of Lands, I see this as a huge game changer. Not only was I an educator, I also have a master's in resource planning. I have worked with water rights issues in the Lemhi Basin. High water flows are now a possibility in this state to get a water permit for. I've worked with grazers and encroaching pines. I've worked with mine permitting, and I've also worked with everything that's multiple use, because that's where I've been. I've been in the Salmon Chalice Forest for a long time. So anyway, I want to be your Secretary of State because I have been a legislator for 6 years. I know how the system works. Not that I like it, but I know how it works. I have a formal education in education and resources, and I live off-grid and have since 2005. And that unique lifestyle, I think, brings a unique person to this office. My name is Dorothy Moon, dorothymoon.com. I would appreciate your vote and your support. Thank you.
Next question is for Rep. Dorothy Moon, running as Secretary of State. The federal government controls roughly 62% of Idaho land. How difficult and what steps would need to be taken to regain control of our state lands?
Yeah, I don't know if I can answer that quite yet. Okay. As far as that question goes, yes. As I was saying earlier, as far as that's 62 to 63% of our lands that are federally mismanaged. Again, we have an opportunity to start managing the lands to where we as Idaho citizens get the economic benefit off of the lands that sit within the boundaries of our state. That's our land, it's our water, it's our wildlife, and why everybody seems to forget that, I don't know. But as far as not only managing the lands through this Good Neighbor Authority, we just need to get involved as well as with the mining. So even like on mine permitting, we have federal agencies that are extending bonding or at least input on the issue as far as opening it up to environmentalists. And they come in for the next 3 months and change the bonding date and the interest rates go up. We as a state need to say no to the state agency that says no, you need an extra 3 months for comment. No, you don't. It was set, you gotta stick to your calendars because the federal government is really good about moving the dates. And the other thing too is like these prescribed burns. They set a prescribed burn a year out. They set them, they don't care how windy it is because it's on the calendar. So these fires that are started, a lot over in my neck of the woods or in the Boise or Payette, which is also in my district, is because they are poor managers. So we have to take control of it. Even though we have Biden in, you know, guys, we've got him for another 3 years. I mean, we just started dealing with this insanity. So until we can get back to an administration that is going to listen to us and recognize our sovereignty as a state, as Trump was doing, he had a bunch of us legislators go out and meet with him a few years ago. And the thing he said is, how do we get out of your way? He wanted the federal government out of our way. But you know what? We're going to have to play their game. So instead of saying we're going to go do a logging project, we're we're gonna do a fuels reduction project. The environmentalists like some terminology better, and we can have to start playing their game. But we are going to start managing those lands incrementally, and the more we do, the more successful we are at it, but then of course they're gonna have to turn those reins over to the state. We've always done a better job with our lands. Same with the mining. We have strategic metals. We have the only cobalt reserve in the entire world next to the Congo. And every one of your phones have cobalt in it. Why are we allowing it to go from the Congo to China to here when we have it here? So there's a lot of things we can do as a state. It might be 63% federally mismanaged, but we are going to wiggle our way in there however we can with a good land board, with a good governor on there, and a good AG, and a good superintendent of public instruction. The controller is not being challenged, and we're going to start taking these lands back that way. So that's how I see it.